How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and we are back again with another Tower of Fantasy video. Today we will be doing a guide on Matrix or Matrices. If you do not know what these are, they are essentially little chips that you can socket into a weapon. Every weapon has 4 socket slots, and they are labeled emotion, mind, belief, and memory. So you will need a unique chip with the appropriate type to socket into each place. Now, they also have set bonuses, like a 2-piece and a 4-piece bonus if you collect the same type. And that also scales for the lower rarities having a 3-piece set bonus. It starts at the highest rank of an SSR or gold chip. Then you can get an SR or purple chip, as well as a R or blue chip. And finally, you can get uncommon green chips, but they're probably not going to be worth your time. So we're going to go ahead and talk today about all of the chips that come in the standard banner. So this is going to be the characters that are available on global release launch. We are not talking about the Chinese version chips that are available, and we are also not talking about any of the characters that will be coming in limited banners. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and dive in here and check some of these chips out. I will give you a bit of an opinion about them and what they may be useful for, and that can help you determine what to increase the rank of later on down the line, where you'll be able to power them up with experience and increase their star level, especially if you have duplicates of them, and you can get them to have a stronger set bonus effect. So let's go ahead and dive in here. The first one is going to be Cocoriter. Coco is a healing matrix chip. These are all going to be mirrored from the simulacrum from the standard banner, so just keep that in mind. The 2-piece set bonus is going to give you up to 14% healing, which is going to be very, very powerful. And the 4-piece set bonus will allow you to power up your teammates' attack power by 17.5% for 2 seconds whenever you heal them. Coco tends to heal quite a lot, so you will be buffing your teammates pretty much all the time with this one. In my opinion, this is probably one of the better healing matrix sets to go for. There are a few other options if you want to trade out healing bonus for supporting capability, but this is definitely a good one to have. Next, we will go into Huma. Huma is a tanking matrix set. It does have a unique 2-piece for triggering when you use a dodge skill attack. It will inflict a bleed on the target and doing up to 26% of your attack damage every second for 5 seconds, which can be a lot. This is very useful for characters who like to spam dodge attacks, and there are quite a few weapons that like to do that. The 4-piece bonus will reduce the attack of all targets near you by a certain percent up to 15 whenever they're suffering from some sort of damage over time abilities, so like whether that be a bleed or something else or poison. And this will allow you to be a little bit more tanky. It has its uses, but unless there's some sort of crazy demanding boss that's killing everybody because he's doing so much damage, which probably won't be the case from what I've seen, most of it is how fast can you kill something in this game, then it probably won't be too useful for you. The next character or matrix we're going to dive into is going to be Crow. Crow is also an SSR matrix. He will increase your crit damage to targets with less than 60% by 42% total damage for the 2-piece set bonus, which makes him quite strong. And the 4-piece set bonus will allow your crits to deal additional damage over time equal to 30% of your attack every second for 5 seconds, and it does not stack. So this is a very, very strong option for DPS characters, so keep that in mind. Also, as a side note, you can mix and match these sets. So if you want a 2-piece set from one character and a 2-piece set from another character, you can do that, and it is quite strong actually. Some of the best combinations in the game involve using 2-piece set bonuses, so don't be afraid to play around with that if you feel that's something for you. Next, we will go into King. King is a very powerful tank breaking matrix or shield breaking matrix. Whenever you hit a target and shatter its shield, you will grant a 14% damage boost for 25 seconds to yourself. This is very, very strong. And the 4-piece bonus, it will state that when there are 2 or more enemies around, your hits will restore HP equal to 14% of the damage dealt when attacking. And there is some sort of a cap on how much you can restore within a given time, but it's nice to have that life leech available if that's something everything you're looking for whatever activity you're doing. So King definitely has a really strong place here. His 2-piece set bonus is probably one of the better ones for breaking shields and powering yourself up after that. Next, we're going to jump into Meryl. Meryl has a 2-piece. This is a tank set matrix once again. If your HP is less than 30% after being attacked, you're going to gain a shield equal to 26% of your max HP for 10 seconds, and that is on a 2-minute cooldown. The 4-piece will allow your whirlwind's damage to be increased by 63% and restore HP up to 50% of damage while the whirlwind is activated. So this is going to be something really nice to kind of rejuvenate you, but also increase the power of your shattering moves with Meryl. So Meryl's right click hold down is quite strong at draining enemy shields, so this will make it even better. Next we have Samir. Samir has a 2-piece bonus. This will be a more damage dealer focused thing. It's going to increase your damage progressively by 1%, stacking up to 20 times, and it's going to last 1.5 seconds. So if you have a character that attacks very frequently, this will be a very strong matrix to have. A 20% total buff is quite powerful, so if you can maintain that stack, it's going to be very strong. And then the 4-piece set bonus is going to increase the dual M-Star's electrical explosion by 40%. So this is specifically talking about Samir only. It's decent, but you may just want to use 2-piece. I think the best DPS matrix set is going to have the 2-piece from Samir and then probably the 2-piece from Crow as well. That's going to give you the best overall damage output just for doing raw DPS on a target. So next we'll go ahead and jump in to the following one, which is going to be the Shiro Matrix. The 2-piece matrix for Shiro is going to increase your damage and shatter to targets with more than 50% life by 26%. So the higher health they are, as long as they're above that half health threshold, you're going to be doing increased damage, which is going to be very good. And the 4-piece bonus is when you enter battle, you're going to gain a 35% damage boost for 20 seconds, and it resets 5 seconds after exiting battle. So you're going to get a nice strong buff at the start of combat, and if you manage to get out, you can reactivate that buff. So that's definitely a strong bonus, but I think that this is going to be the best tank or shield breaking combo. Would probably be the 2-piece bonus for Shiro and then the 2-piece bonus from King. We're going to jump into the next one here, which is going to be Tsubasa. This is also an SSR matrix once again. We will cover the SR matrix here right after this one. So this is 2-piece bonus is going to increase your damage dealt by 17.5% when there's no enemies within 4 meters. So if you can keep them at range, this is an archer character, this is going to give you a strong damage boost. And the 4-piece set will state that if you get a headshot, you're going to increase your attack by 21% for 8 seconds. This is a very powerful set, however, it is only useful for pretty much Tsubasa, maybe Bai Ling as well. So if you're only going to use strictly bows, then this is something you could consider. But I think that you'll probably have a combination of some other stuff, so this might be a pass for most people, unless you're really dead set on specifically targeting those characters. The final SSR chip is going to be Zero. Zero has a unique category here. He's going to be doing some sort of utility. So the 2-piece set bonus is going to state whenever you use a discharge skill or an ultimate, when to switch to the current weapon, you're going to gain a shield equal to 210% of your attack for 4 seconds. That is quite a beefy shield, and the 4-piece will allow you to have that shield active. When it is active, you and your teammates will deal 28% more damage. So Zero is a nice healing character that kind of buffs attack at the same time, so this could be a strong utility option for a good 4-man group composition, which you might be interested in some of the hard content later on in the game. Now that we have covered all of the SSR Matrix, these are going to be like the rare ones. It's going to be hard for you to get them. I did want to briefly talk about the rarity difference between the Matrix. A gold or SSR Matrix will provide a significantly larger combat rating boost and health or attack damage or crit boost. So it is probably advised that as soon as you get a gold Matrix, just go ahead and use it regardless of the set or anything like that, because it's going to power you up the most overall. But in the beginning, you're probably going to have mostly purple SR Matrix as you work your way towards the gold Matrix, which will be unlocked in the later levels, and you'll need to get a specific set. So having these SR Matrix, the purple ones, are going to be like a strong start for you in the beginning. And there are some particularly powerful ones with really good set bonuses, so we'll talk about those here in a second. So now we'll jump into the SR Matrix here and wrap up this video. So this will be the last section that we're covering here. We're going to go into this. This is going to be Bai Ling. Bai Ling is going to increase damage dealt to Grievous targets by 18%. Grievous is a debuff that physical weapons kind of cover. So whenever you fully charge your weapon with a physical weapon, you will put a Grievous debuff on the target. I covered that in the Elemental weapon guide, so if you want to go ahead and check that one out, I'll put a link in the description down below, and you can go ahead and see that. But this is going to be a 3-piece set bonus for these, so it's going to be a little bit different from the SSR Matrix. Next, we have Echo. Echo, using a discharge skill to switch to the current weapon, grants up to 120% weapon charge. This is very powerful for support characters, especially early on in the beginning of the game, because this is one of the ones you'll get access to really early for free just by doing the story. And it will keep your ultimate charge, which is going to be your main source of healing your teammates. So this can be a very strong set to use. Next, we have Ene, which is going to have a 3-piece set bonus. When dealing damage greater than 100% of your attack, you deal additional damage equal to 90% attack maximum, and the cooldown is 3 seconds for that. So if you have some sort of weapon that triggers a strong hit that's stronger than its normal auto attack damage, this can be a good thing to use for you. Now we have Hilda. Hilda is going to increase your attack by 22.5% when there are no enemies within 6 meters. This is strong for ranged characters, but again, just like Tsubasa, this is going to be something specific to people who are only using ranged characters, so it may not be the best set to have if you have some sort of a mixed party, but if you're going for that ranger-only playstyle and that's your jam, this can be a very powerful Matrix set to have. Now we have Pepper. Pepper is a very strong healing support set, especially early on. It's just going to increase your weapon charge speed by up to 15%. The 15% weapon charge speed is quite a big deal, as it will allow you to get your ultimate off more often and can be very strong with the healer combo. Next we have Robarg, and this is probably one of my favorites for the early game. When you target has its shields shattered, you will poison the target and deal damage equal to 67.5% of your attack every second for 10 seconds. So if you do manage to break their shields, you can add a nasty damage over time, and it's going to be really powerful. And this is particularly good for the Bygone Phantasm, because all of the monsters there love to have shields constantly, so this can rack up a lot of damage for you for sure. Next, we will dive into Apothis, which is one of the world bosses out in the region here. Deal higher damage at lower HP, dealing maximum damage when HP is at 20%. So the damage can be increased by 30%. So if you're at 20% HP, you're about to die, you can increase your damage by 30%. This is a very risky Matrix to run. I probably would not recommend it. There's definitely some better options out there. Next, we have the Frostbot. When your HP is below 40%, you use a discharge skill to switch to a current weapon. You're going to restore HP equal to 240% of your attack at maximum, which is useful in some situations. There are some places like the wormhole where you can't really heal, and you might want to just switch this on real fast for a cheeky mechanic abuse, right? So that way you can get some sort of healing and maintain your life bar. This does have a place, but I wouldn't focus on this as a main matrix. Next, we have Sobek. Sobek is very powerful in the early game. He increases your damage by up to 9% for each nearby enemy, stacking up to 3 times. So total that can be 27%. So as long as there are people near you, 3 or more, you're going to get 27% increased damage, which is very powerful for anybody in melee combat or just anybody in general, because you're most likely going to be in melee or mid-range for pretty much all combinations of weapons. And finally, we have Barbarossa. Barbarossa's 3-set bonus is upon switching to the weapon, you're going to gain a 75% damage reflection for 3 seconds. with a cooldown of 30 seconds. And when you switch to another weapon, you're going to gain a 30% damage boost for 5 seconds. So this is an interesting utility matrix. You can use it to sort of power up a very strong move on one particular weapon and go for some sort of wombo combo. It's a bit picky, but it can work. So this could be something that you could weave into your build. Okay, that's going to be it for all of the SR Matrix, and that will conclude this guide for the most part. Do keep in mind that these Matrix are somewhat obtained by the gacha. Some of them are obtained within the world, and you will get a lot of them from joint operations or just doing activities in general, and that you can upgrade the star level of these Matrix by obtaining multiple copies of them, so it will take you quite a while to obtain SSR chips at max star copy, so that could be something that you want to consider into the future. Alright, that's going to be it for this one. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell as always, and we will catch you in the next video.